Hey everybody. So, been working with Nathan Moore uh, for the past couple hours. We're still waiting for things to pop up. What's that color bar doing? Huh. So, just getting things set up here. Hey Doc, Raven, thanks for the new follow, Adium. And hi South Paul. You know, y'all didn't catch me in something the other night when we were talking about the numbers for the invest. I kept waiting for somebody to catch me, and nobody did. It does not start with 95. It starts with 90. I was trying to get you all going about it, and y'all didn't catch it. So while we're waiting for storms to pop up, or Nathan is, hey Stormy, I'll go ahead and yeah, Doc, I got you. We'll go ahead and talk a little tropical weather, and let me get this up here. Well, that gives them 10. There's not going to be any more than that, and I think it's got something to do with latitude. I was going to look that up, and I got busy earlier, but I think that's got something to do with the latitude. Yeah, there's a few good storms popping around. Nothing near me. I'm still in the dry air. So anyway, let's switch scenes here, and this is from the National Hurricane Center. Hey, Rick. Uh, First off, we have an invest. I mentioned the other night that there in the Gulf would produce a low, but I didn't think that they would put an invest. It's got a 0% chance of doing anything, but yet they've got an invest. That's 90L. Invest 90L. As far as 98L, I'll show you here in a little bit. This thing is an elongated uh, low system. It's actually more of a trough, and still got a 70 in the next 2 days and a 90% in the next five. But as you can see on the track, I'll zoom in on it for you. They've changed the cone there a little bit. You moved it further away from the coast, and that was the same thing that I've been seeing on the models that I look at over the last 2 days. Yeah, it's been in the 70s here, South Paul, last couple of days. But notice down here, 99L, which this morning went to a tropical depression 5, is now tropical storm Dorian. It finally got its name, which I did think a couple nights ago that this thing would get its name before 98L would. It's still headed for Cuba, and I'll show you the cone on it. Looks like Puerto Rico is going to get it. And for some reason, their graphics for the first 4 days isn't lighting up. But you can see the center of the cone. These last few places here, those symbols are for a hurricane. So they are expecting it to at least make a low end hurricane. And it is headed right for Santo Domingo. But San Juan, up here in Puerto Rico, that's going to be on that northeast quadrant. So they're definitely going to get hit because that's where the strongest part of a tropical storm is. What we call the northeast quadrant. Here it would be the north quadrant. You stick your hand up. Let me the other hand. If you stick your hand up, like it would be a tropical storm, you're right about where your thumb is the strongest part of a tropical storm. So there's Darian, and let's go ahead and take a look. Let me pull this down. Trade monitors here. And you can see where the track is on these models. Now, remember the last couple nights I was talking about where these blue dots are. That particular model, I don't have a lot of confidence. And that one's actually saying it's going to get to a Cat 3. It's too early to tell. But that model is usually always off. Remember the other night, those blue dots had 98L crossing over Florida, going out in the Gulf, and then coming back. And it's not going to do that. So anyway, let's get some satellite action. Start out here with the infrared. It's a nice looking system. And she'll flicker here while I load up the frames. We'll put this in motion. Excuse me. Still got some nice rotation. Now, typically in the past, the storms were actually on the east side of the center of rotation. Notice they're over here on the west side. Hey, Inspire. I'll zoom in on it here for you. And it's starting to get some really strong thunderstorms right around where the center. Give you an idea if you're not seeing it. The center is about right in there. Okay. You can see how she's spinning around there. So that's a good sign that it's intensifying. It's actually getting the strong storms around the rotating low. Now we'll zoom back out. It was really pretty on the visible satellite earlier. We'll look at water vapor here. Oh, wow. Thanks for the donation. Appreciate that, Doc. Now, looking at it through water vapor mode, you can see it's got drier air up to the north and drier air off to the west. Why is Nightbot? Nightbot was supposed to have been turned off. It's turned itself back on. And I did not have that set for emotes. Don't worry about it, InSpy. Let me do something here. Give me a sec, guys. I'm gonna turn that sucker off. I turned it off last week. Shucks. Nightbot's not even showing, so I don't know why it did that. There's my psychedelic look. So anyway, sorry about that, InSpy. What the heck? Nightbot's not even showing. Wonder if I just ban Nightbot. It's showing up as a user. I just banned it. I haven't really needed Nightbot. Hey, Jen. Jen, I unmodded Nightbot, and it's still working. So I banned it. It shows up as a user, not a moderator. And I just banned it because it's still trying to work. What the heck? Okay, I'll have to do that later. I just banned it again. I forgot I gotta log into it. Okay, I'll do that later. Anyway, back to what I was talking to. Sorry about that, InSpy. We got some dry air off to the west of it, but that's moving away from it, and you can start to see some moisture filling in. So, this thing's got a real good chance to turn into a hurricane. More tropical waves. Nice strong ones, too. We'll have to keep an eye on those. There is another tropical wave right here. Keep an eye on that one as well. Yeah, one model's actually showing Dorian to be a Cat 3 by the time it hits Puerto Rico. I would not want to be in Puerto Rico because Chaser that I knew or know was down there 2 years ago and he got stuck. He couldn't get out. There was no flights, so I think he ended up catching a boat. So let's go ahead and look at 98L. And let me load the tiles up. Really hard to see where the center of rotation is. Really hard to find it. It's really elongated, so it's kind of lost its actual center of circulation. Even with the radar on, when it gets all those loaded up. That was the only way I found the center earlier this afternoon. Actually, I had to look at the radar. So it's still probably a couple days. There you can see where the center is. It's finally moved away from Florida, it looks like. Looks like the center is going to be about right there. Hey, Stormy. So anyway, not a lot of good looks for 98L in the short term. And let's go ahead and take a glance at the models. And this will be the Euro. I'm going to try something new here. I'm going to try to zoom in on this using a different method. And I'll play this. Try to zoom on that. And you kind of see that's 98L. It kind of comes and goes on this model run. Go ahead and take a look at the icon. And I'll try the same method with this. Yeah, I tell you what, there's a bunch of odd names on the list this year. Okay, this is the icon model, 498L. And it's still showing it, getting it pretty strong up in here. Look how strong that thing gets. Now we'll take a look at Dorian. Change my region. Western Atlantic. This is 98. Dorian. That does showing it getting pretty strong. Take a closer look at. Watch when it gets up there to Puerto Rico. Does show it getting it pretty strong. The pressure's not showing all that low though. So it's still early yet. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And with this region, you can see 98L up here as well as Dorian. Yeah, look at these hurricane names for this year. Ferdinand, Gabriel, Humberto. Humberto's been used several times before. I remember that name. Nestor, that's a weird name. Olga. That last one would be cool. Wendy. Good name for a hurricane. Wendy. So let's take a look. Yes, low pressure is worse weather when it comes to hurricanes. The lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. Let me get my camera out of the way here. You can see all of the names. Hi, Lizanne. I'm always learning. I find something new every week. That's what I'm here for, to share what I've learned with everybody else. So I tell you what, if you ever stop learning, you're dead. So let's take a look where Nathan is. Nathan is right there. Give you an idea where he's at. You probably can't see his beacon, just a blue dot on the screen. It's really hard to see. But that's where Nathan is sitting there waiting. According to the model runs, right where he's at, should be firing. And all these storms that's off to the west of him, those have all been moving northeast, and we don't want that. But this storm up here, it's been traveling a long ways, and this one's moving south. Hey, DJ. Whoops. Moved the map and Nathan didn't move. Huh. And there's some further down in Kansas. But he's not wanting to go down quite that far. So we just been sitting here waiting for something to happen. Uh, the Twitch beacon. Oh, you mean the? What do you mean by Twitch beacon? Oh, as far as when you do that, yeah, the location. Um, if this beacon is behind, that location will be off. That's the reason why you'll hear me tell him from time to time to reset his beacon because the program that we use since the last couple updates, it wants to stop working. So he's constantly have to update it. But that still should be the same if you're using that KML file for Google Earth. I'm actually using another method to actually track him. I'm able to do it on Google Maps. And that's how I know when his beacon's running behind. So I'm in a hurry up and wait and just continue to watch the radar. I've had his volume turned down. I don't know what he's talking about. He must be talking to somebody on the phone. Now, one thing, I got to move around here a little bit. Now, one thing that I am noticing on the models, of course, Dorian is still pretty far out, but right now the models has it dying right around Cuba, Dominican Republic area. I really don't think that's going to happen, but it could because of that dry air that I showed you was off to the west side of it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But that would be the only thing that I can think of that would kill Dorian. But it's still too early to tell. And as far as 98L, the way the discussion reads, it's going to be a couple more days before it starts to strengthen. It's moving so slow. It's in warmer waters, but it has been fighting a little bit of shear, and that's the reason why it's not circulating. It's elongated. Well, if nothing else, looks like Nathan's got a pretty sunset. Hey, Archer, how you doing? It's an awful long way to drive just to get a sunset. And I had a feeling that these storms tonight was going to end up being nighttime storms, and it looks like that's going to happen. It's 8:12 out there where he's at. So it's not looking too good at all. I'm trying to find a file here. If you'd like to watch both of us, and you're not doing that yet, let me post a link here. There's a link where you can watch Nathan and myself. Yeah, I've been kind of watching that one too. What's he trying to do, Jen? I've had his volume turned down. I know he's been on the phone. He's talking about that storm, that severe warned up there by Jennings. Talking about that storm right there. That's some really broad rotation in it. I'm starting to get a little inflow notch. Hey Nathan, you on here? That's not all that far from him, but he must still be on the phone. He's not answering Zello. Nathan, you got a copy? Yeah, he must have Zello turned down. Hey, William. Thanks, Armchair. So, I tell you what, folks, I got something I got to do real quick. I'm going to go ahead and shut the stream down. Well, first off, does anybody got any questions? Yeah, I think he might have been trying to do something with his drone and his phone. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the stream down. If something good pops up with Nathan, I'll go ahead and bring it back up. I just got to do something here. So if I don't come back up tonight, I'll definitely broadcast tomorrow as I get more information on the tropical weather. So I might go ahead and bring the stream back up a little bit later, just for giggles and do some chatting and discussion. So until then, thanks a lot for joining me. And thanks for the donation, Doc. I really appreciate that. And we'll catch you. Yeah, something distracted me. We'll catch you on the next broadcast.